Yeah, so I mean, it's a volatile name. Obviously, Elon is everywhere, has his hands in so many different aspects. So I have half the position I just own outright, and the other half I sell calls against. And I keep getting those positions, which I'll sell like 15 to 20% out of the money calls, but the stock keeps moving higher. So that position will get taken away. So I have my core, and then with my other covered call, as the stock has moved higher, I am very comfortable selling calls against that. And if it gets called away, so be it. Because you have to understand, Tesla is probably the top option traded stock. It has been all year. And so there's a ton of option premium. And so for me, when there's a ton of option premium, I'm happy to like make a 25% trade between the upside and selling calls. To me, that's the comfortable way to play it, because I do agree, like their margins are going to come down. You can walk through, there's going to be more competition. But I just really believe that Elon is the Thomas Edison of our time. And not only is he a great inventor, he's a great producer, and he can mass manufacture. And just look what's happening with GM and Ford. Like for them to go to Tesla just tells you how superior their technology is, even down to their superchargers. So I just think it's a long-term hold. I love what he's doing. And I think that, I own a Tesla, and that just it's wonderful technology, and it's a fun car to drive.
Tesla stock continues to grow after experiencing a tough year last year. In fact, earlier this month, Tesla announced that the company's May sales in China slightly increased. This fueled the rumors that Tesla is developing an upgraded Model 3 vehicle at its Shanghai plant. And speaking of the Model 3, Tesla recently announced that its base Model 3 in the US is now eligible for the full Inflation Reduction Act tax credit. As can be expected, Tesla's stock price soared after the announcement. But let's talk about how Tesla's China sales are helping cement Tesla's role as the market leader and leading EV manufacturer. According to data released by the China Passenger Car Association, Tesla sold 77,695 China-made vehicles in May, including exports. That's up 2.4% from April and a 141% gain versus the 32,165 vehicles last May during COVID restrictions and closures. It is currently unclear how many China-made vehicles were exported. In April, 39,956 China-made Tesla vehicles were delivered in China, while 35,886 were exported. The US-based company usually is focused on exports in the first half of the quarter before shifting to local deliveries in the second half. So far this year, Tesla has sold 382,859 China-made vehicles, up 77% from the 215,851 between January and May of 2022. This comes amid reports that Tesla was pausing operations at its Shanghai plant earlier in the year to retool the facility for new Model 3 production lines. Tesla Shanghai has allegedly slashed Model 3 production recently, according to various reports, with speculation that it is in preparation for the revamped Model 3. Tesla, however, has not confirmed reports it has been working on a new Model 3 sedan. Regardless of what is actually happening behind the doors of the Shanghai plant, it is true that it is finally ramping up production, which bodes well for the company's sales, and consequently its stock. Even in February, Tesla sold 74,402 China-made electric vehicles. Notably, that's up 31.65% from a year earlier, according to China Passenger Car Association data. Similarly, the February figures were up 12.6% from January, when the EV maker delivered 66,051 China-made Model 3 and Model Y electric cars. Tesla had planned to run its Shanghai plant at an average weekly output rate of 20,000 units in February and March, after price cuts it made in early January stoked demand. However, early March data showed the company's retail sales in China were still running short of the pace seen in the fourth quarter, indicating the bump from discounted prices in its biggest overseas market is waning. It is worth noting that Tesla's market share in China's new energy vehicle sector, which includes both pure electric and plug-in hybrid cars, slid to 9% in February from 10% a year earlier. This is according to data from China Merchants Bank International. Still, as competition intensified, Tesla aims to increase its exports and expand into new markets to digest output from its factory in Shanghai. Things took a turn for the better when in the latter part of March, the China Merchants Bank International released car insurance registration data, which showed 106,915 new Tesla vehicles registered in China between January 1st to March 19th. It is tracking ahead of the last quarter, which was a record quarter for Tesla in China, with 122,038 cars delivered. As you all know, China is a critical market for Tesla and electric vehicles in general. Tesla's performance in China often makes the difference in whether it has a good quarter. The increase in sales comes after Tesla slashed prices globally, while the price cuts came to China first in early January. Through April, Tesla locally sold more than 177,000 MIC electric cars in China, which is 61% more than a year ago. In other words, the volume continues to increase after the price reduction was applied in January. Currently sitting at $255.90 per share, Tesla stock jumped 1.7% to $217.61 earlier this month during market trading. Better than that, Tesla has gained more than 100% since it hit lows of $101.81 in early January. Now, this is the best part. During the first 5 months of the year, Tesla's total wholesale sales amounted to over 382,000, which is 77% more than a year ago at this point. This brings an average monthly volume of 76,500 or so. It is also noteworthy that such volume production should be possible to maintain, as the cars from China are now also sold in Canada. The Chinese media reports suggest that as many as several thousand units might be exported this quarter. What people would want to know, though, is whether Tesla will also introduce something new, like the rumored refreshed Tesla Model 3 Highland version. It would potentially boost sales, at least after the ramp-up phase. That's that for Model 3. The Tesla Model Y, on the other hand, took its place as China's top-selling SUV last month. The all-electric crossover, which is produced in Gigafactory Shanghai, sold a total of 31,054 units in May 2023, according to data from the China Passenger Car Association. From January to May, the Model Y sold a total of 152,461 units in China's domestic market. That's up 87% year-over-year, which is quite impressive considering that the Model Y is a premium all-electric crossover with a lot of legitimate competition from local rivals. From January to May 2023, the Model Y was the country's best-selling SUV, electric or otherwise. With domestic sales of 31,054 units in May, the Model Y saw a month-over-month growth of 16% from April. The number also represents a 428% year-over-year growth in domestic sales. All that said, the company's local sales in China amounted to 42,508 cars, which is a huge bump compared to 9,825 units a year ago. It is important to note, however, that Tesla retail sales in China are usually the highest in the final month of a quarter, since the first half of a quarter is usually focused on exports. So far this year, Tesla locally sold nearly 200,000 electric cars in China, which is 84% more than a year ago. It means that after applying price reductions in January, Tesla can continue to increase its sales. In terms of exports, Tesla reported 35,187 cars were exported last month, which is 58% more than a year ago. As mentioned, Tesla usually exports the highest number of cars in the first month of a quarter, and then a substantial number of cars also in the second month of a quarter. So far this year, Tesla exported almost 163,000 cars from China, which is 69% more than a year ago. One of the latest noticeable export markets for the Tesla Gig Shanghai plant is Canada. As you may already know, Tesla produces two models in its Shanghai plant, Model 3 and Model Y, both in various versions. In May, the Tesla Model 3 wholesale, which is retail sales in China as well as exports, amounted to 27,215, while the Tesla Model Y amounted to 50,480. The local retail sales amounted to respectively 11,454, up 190% year-over-year, and 31,054, up 429% year-over-year. As we can see, the Tesla Model Y quite significantly outsells the Model 3. So far this year, Tesla sold in China over 67,000 Model 3, which is a significant 77% rise year-over-year, and over 152,000 Model Y, which is up 87% year-over-year. Note that these numbers are just from the Shanghai plant. There are still factories in Berlin, Nevada, Austin, and more. As if those aren't enough, France is trying to convince Elon Musk to build Tesla's next gigafactory in the country, as the nation's digital minister recently told CNBC. The courtship comes just as the minister threatened the Musk-owned Twitter with a ban if it does not comply with upcoming European Union regulations. It will be great to have a Tesla factory in France. There has been a lot of effort and energy to make sure this is possible and this can happen, Jean-Noël Barrot told CNBC's Charlotte Reed at the Viva Tech conference in Paris. France has been looking to boost its position as a hub for the electric car industry, opening its first electric car battery factory this year. We have also invested in an entire sector of electric batteries, so we will try to convince him that France is the best possible place in Europe to establish the next Tesla factory," Barrault said. Musk is expected to speak in Paris at the VivaTech Summit, one of France's flagship technology conferences where the government will have a large presence. As many know, Musk has been on the hunt for a new gigafactory location, in addition to the company's major car manufacturing plants already present in the US, Germany, and China. Barrault praised Musk as a great inventor, probably one of the greatest of the beginning of this century. Make sure to subscribe for more.